The Plateau State government has imposed a 48-hour curfew in Jos, North Local Government area following a deadly attack on Agwan Rukuba that's claimed several lives and left others injured. Hi, welcome to What's Happening. These are our top 10 stories countdown today. At number 10, Spain's leftist government has closed Spanish airspace to US planes carrying out missions against Iran. In addition to denying Washington use of its bases, the defense minister said on Monday, Spain's refusal to cooperate has complicated US military operations by forcing bombers to change their route and logistics on their way to the Middle East. El País reported the transit or landing of planes is allowed only in cases of an emergency, the newspaper said. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has emerged as the highest profile Western leader to consistently oppose the war launched by US to Israeli attacks on February 28, which has since engulfed the entire Middle East. At number 9, Tottenham Hotspur are actively pursuing Roberto De Zerbi as their next head coach after parting ways with Igor Tudor, marking another dramatic twist in what has already been a tumultuous campaign at Tottenham Hotspur. Tudor's brief tenure, just 44 days in charge, ended on March 29, 2026, after a run of poor results left Spurs near the relegation zone in the Premier League and sparked intense fan and boardroom pressures. According to Sky in Italy on Monday, Roberto De Zerbi is open to joining Tottenham Hotspur as head coach now. De Zerbi, who has been out of management since leaving Olympique de Marseille in February, is now open to taking the jobs immediately rather than waiting until the summer as previously thought. At number 8, the Independent National Electoral Commission has recognized the faction of the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party, backed by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. The electoral body reflected the development on its official website on Monday, where it published the updated leadership of the opposition party. Those listed include Abdulrahman Mohammed as national chairman and Samuel Anyanwu as national secretary, alongside other members of the party's national leadership. Both Abdulrahman and Anyanwu emerged during the PDP National Convention held on Sunday night at the velodrome of the National Stadium in Abuja. At number 7, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has raised the alarm over what he described as efforts by anti-democratic elements to create confusion and slow the growing momentum of the African Democratic Congress. In a statement posted on X by his media aide, Paul Ibe, on Monday, Atiku dismissed claims circulating on social media that he had met with ADC stakeholders and decided to step aside from active politics. The former presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party described the social media report as false and misleading. At number 6, the United States reduced its purchase of Nigerian crude oil sharply in January 2026, with imports dropping by about 47.16% month-on-month, according to the latest data from the U.S. Census Bureau and the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis. Figures from the U.S. International Trade in Goods and Services report indicates that U.S. crude imports from Nigeria fell to 1.664 million barrels in January 2026, down from 3.149 million barrels recorded in December 2025. This represents a decline of 1.485 million barrels within 1 month, showing a significant contraction in Nigeria's share of the U.S. crude market. In value terms, the drop was equally steep. At number 5, the Nigerian Communications Commission said it has directed mobile network operators to provide compensation to subscribers whose network quality of service experience is below specified targets within specific locations. In a Sunday statement, the Commission noted that its position is that subscribers should not be made to bear the full burden of service disruptions where operators fail to meet prescribed standards of service delivery. Under this directive, area operators will compensate affected users directly for breaches of quality of service. Key performance indicators. Mobile network operators will be required to pay this compensation for instances of poor quality of service recorded within specified time frames. At number 4, the University of Jos has rescheduled exams scheduled for March 30th and 31st following the attack on Agwan Rukuba community in Jos North Local Government area of Plateau State. In a statement on Monday, the Deputy Registrar, Information and Public Relations of the university, Emmanuel Madugu, urged staff and students to remain vigilant and avoid unnecessary movement. The statement read, in view of the late evening fatal attacks by unknown gunmen on residents of Agwan Rukuba, an area that hosts many staff and students of the university, and and the consequential tensions it has generated in and around the area of the environs. The Vice Chancellor has directed that all examinations scheduled to hold on Monday 30th and Tuesday 31st March 2026 are postponed and will be rescheduled accordingly. At number 3, Borno State Governor Babangana Zulum has dissolved his entire cabinet, directing commissioners to relinquish their positions. The directive was contained in a statement on Monday by the Secretary to the Borno State government, Barka Tijani. Although no reason was given for the directive, it may not be unconnected from the 2027 general elections. Zulum noted that the directive took effect immediately. Zulum appreciated the commissioners for their dedication, commitment, and invaluable contributions to the development and service of the people of Borno State. The Borno leader is the latest governor to have directed political appointees to resign. At number 2, the chairman of the governing board of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, Nasiru Gawuna, has formally resigned from his position, signaling a major political shift ahead of upcoming activities in Kano State and beyond. Gawuna, a former governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in Kano, submitted his resignation in a letter dated March 27, 2026. In the letter, he stated that his decision takes immediate effect and is compliant with directives issued by President Bola Tinubu. In his resignation letter, Gawuna expressed appreciation for the opportunity to serve under the current administration, describing his tenure as both an honor and a privilege. At number 1, the Plateau State government has imposed a 48-hour curfew in Jos North local government area following a deadly attack on Angawan Rukuba that claimed several lives and left others injured. The curfew, which takes effect from midnight of March 29 to April 1st, 2026, was announced in a press statement issued by the Commissioner for Information and Communication, retired Honorable Joyce Lawyer Ramnap. The government said the decision became necessary after a tragic security incident at Gariya Waye community in Agwan Rukuba on Sunday, which resulted in casualties and heightened tension in the area. That's all for today. See you next time on What's Happening.